section. So you can learn about the interest rates, the loan limits, when repayment begins. The interest rates on the chart are for this current school year for 24-25. We don't know and won't know what the interest rates for the 25-26 school year will be until about June. The second page of the loan chart actually gives you an example of a repayment schedule. And then, a student isn't obligated to take out student loans if they're not needed. But if you borrow, the student needs to consider they should only borrow what they need because student loans can stack up quickly.
Yeah. And Jackie, I'm assuming, I know we don't know until June what the new interest rates will be, but I assume we update that loan chart pretty much as soon as we knew. No?
Yes. So
Awesome.
that's found on our website.
Great. Yeah, and it's a great resource too. It's super detailed. And so when should a student apply for a student loan?
So we typically tell students to wait till about June or July to apply for student loans because they'll want to see what they're being offered in the form of federal aid, college-based aid, et cetera, and also from outside scholarships or resources, to determine whether they even need to borrow, and if so, how much.
Yeah, I actually went through something pretty similar. I was expecting to have to take out a little bit more student loans, and at the last minute, I got a really great scholarship from an outside source. And so I was like, scratch everything. I know what I have to do now.
Hold up.
And so, Jackie, one final question just to bring it all together here. What other advice do you have for families who need help paying for college?
So, Gage, there are a number of things that they can do. It's important to continue to apply for scholarships, and I cannot stress that enough. The more a student applies for, the more chances they have of receiving some of that free money. So if their degree requires a bachelor's, maybe consider starting at a community college and knocking out those gen eds and then transferring on to the four-year college. Maybe think about living at home to save on living expenses. Perhaps the student works while they're going to college to help pay for it at the time. And of course, complete the FAFSA each year that the student plans to be in college.
Great information, Jackie. Thank you. So now we're going to head over to our viewers' questions. Again, if you have a question, please feel free to put it in the chat now. I'm going to start with some of the ones that we've already received. So, Jackie, what if the financial aid offer isn't enough for us to afford college?
So again, some of those things, maybe the student considers starting at a community college. Perhaps they, work while they're going to school. Living at home could save on those living expenses as well. Reach out to the college, explain your situation, and see if there's any advice they can offer as well to help pay for college. Some colleges do offer payment plans, so you would have to check with the college about that.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jackie. And I just got word that we had a little technical difficulty in the very beginning with some of our first few questions. So, Jackie, I might just ask you those again, if that's okay with you.
No problem.
And so just to start back real quick, what is the FAFSA and why is it important for families?
Okay, so as we mentioned, the FAFSA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. It is a college-going student's application to be considered for federal, state, and college-based financial aid.
And how do families complete the FAFSA?
So they'll start by creating that FSA ID at studentaid.gov. The student and at least one parent need to create an FSA ID, and you'll need to allow at least 3 days for that to be verified. Once that's verified, then you'll log into studentaid.gov, and we prefer you to start with the parent's side. So you'll log in using the parent FSA ID first. We just feel like it's better to start with parent, but either way will work. There's no right or wrong. And then the student and parent are considered, they're referred to as contributors on the FAFSA form. So each completes their section, which is linked through an invitation process. When the student and parent approve consent or agree to provide their information on the FAFSA form, their taxes will be transferred securely from the IRS onto the FAFSA form. And then, again, the FAFSA walks you right through it. So it's a pretty simple process.
Yeah. And if you want a more detailed, in-depth live stream, we actually just did one last month. We'll have that in the link in our comments, or you can just go to our YouTube channel. It's just the December live stream, and me and Jackie dove in on all things FAFSA then. So, Jackie, let's hit this question one more time, and I think we should be kind of up to date with where our technical difficulty happened. So, let's dig into what happens after the student files the FAFSA. What are the first things they can expect?
Okay, so once you submit the FAFSA, about 3 days after the FAFSA is submitted, the student will receive an email from Federal Student Aid, and that is confirming that their information was processed and it was passed on to the college or colleges that they listed on the FAFSA form. It will indicate whether the student is selected for verification. It will list their SAI number, and it will provide that studentaid.gov link where you can log in using the student's FSA ID and view the FAFSA submission summary.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you for going back to those questions. And again, apologies to our viewers for any audio troubles that we had in the very beginning there. But let's round us off by going back to some of these viewer questions. So I got another one here for you. How does the college determine the cost of education?
So the college considers 4 different categories. It's the average cost of tuition and fees, books and supplies, housing and food, and then personal and transportation. That is all included into their estimated cost of education.
Okay. And I have another one for you. When can I expect to get financial aid offers from the colleges?
That's a little tricky. That's a good question. It depends upon when you file the FAFSA. So students who've filed in December, most colleges start processing at the end of December, so they can see their financial aid offers probably the first to mid part of January. Those filing in January, we're going to say probably later January, February, and sometimes into March. Just depends upon how overwhelmed or how many are coming into the college, how soon they can get those processed. So sometime in January, February, or March, but again, it depends upon how early you're filing it.
Yeah, I know that's a question I'm sure you probably get asked quite a lot.
It is. And, and again, we tell students, continue to, get in the habit of looking at your student portal at least once a week. Open any emails or any postal mail coming from the colleges to see what information they might be providing or asking for.
Yeah. Thank you, Jackie. I have one last question for you, and it's probably another popular one right now. Will the FAFSA be late again next year?
We sure hope not. The FAFSA is slated to open back at its original opening date of October 1st, 2025. So that would be this coming October. We will be filling the FAFSA out for the 26-27 academic year. So you're filling it out almost a year in advance. You need to complete the FAFSA each year that the student plans to be in college because things change. Household size sometimes changes. Of course, we're using a different year's income tax return. So there's a lot of different variables. And so we're filling out a FAFSA each year the student plans to be in college.
Yeah, definitely. This is another instance of check your email, because there was a couple of times in college where I almost missed the FAFSA, but there was an email in there. So just watch your inbox. So great. Thank you, Jackie. If we didn't get to your question, reach out to any of our offices for free help. Jackie and the rest of our college planning team are amazing resources. You can find all of our contact information at educationquest.org. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date on all things FAFSA and college planning. And sign up for Countdown to College to get a short weekly email to keep you in the know. You can find the registration for that at the bottom of our homepage, again, educationquest.org. We'll see you back here next month on Wednesday, February 19th at 7 p.m. for our next live stream. From Zero to Scholarship Hero, Secrets from Big Winners. Have a great night.